Good morning, gamers. This is your weekly Ohiohammer RnR for the week ending June 3rd. Antimatter Games has been busy with their game Deep Wars, which just came off a successful Kickstarter. Now, what they've given us so far this week is 3 new concept drawings, as well as a sculpt for the Acolyte of the Ethers, and a green for the Annihilator Heavy Assault Unit. So that's some pretty exciting stuff coming out of Antimatter Games. Now, next step, we move over to Bane Legions. Now, Bane Legions has went ahead and releasing Bloodmaw. Definitely screams Rancor from the Star Wars universe to me. Definitely a beautiful model. 102 millimeters tall. So we're talking about 4 inches tall. This guy will be released July 7th, and will set you back about 60 pounds British. Now, Back to Basics has went ahead and added to their acrylic and MDF lines of desk organizers. Now, what thank goodness this time is the large paint rack. It looks to hold 53 of the larger style paint pots. There are room for brushes, and this comes in both a custom acrylic or an MDF version. They've given us a pull-out drawer system with round tub to hold your bits, and the jars are included in the rack, and the rack does come in colored acrylic and MDF versions as well. And finally, they went ahead and given us a hopper for your clump foliage. And I don't know if block could work in this or not. Again, it's got the option of the clear acrylic or MDF version. Now, I've definitely looked into doing some back to basics organizers for my workstation, and these are just beautiful, additions to that line. Next up, Fire Dragon Games out of the UK has went ahead and shown off its bunker system. Now, the bunker is for 28 millimeter scale guys. It costs 24.5 pounds. The bunker itself will hold 12 30 millimeter round bases, and the roof is held on by 4 magnets, which are included from Fire Dragon Games. So this, definitely looks to be a real cool and usable terrain piece. Next up, from the great minds at Forge World. Previously, we had gotten the Zone Morales individual 1 foot by 1 foot sectors, and there were 4 of those. What they've come out with this time is for 350 pounds, you can get 16 of these 1 by 1 sections. 4 of each, enough to cover a full board. Also, they've given us a combo pack of 4 of the small blast doors and 2 of the large blast doors. And this clocks in at 55 pound British. Also, if you want to go ahead and base your figures to match the Zone Morales detail for the decking, they have given us a set of brass etch. Now, the brass etch will come in at 9.5 pounds. And moving on to Games Workshop itself, we had a giant news item come out Friday night. Games Workshop was going digital through the iTunes App Store for the Codex Space Marine, as well as a number of the Scrolls of Binding for Warhammer Fantasy. Now, the Scrolls of Binding were each about $1, where the Codex Space Marine, I believe it came out to about $42. So I've heard a little bit of murmuring about it online, and supposedly it's a 350-page book. Now, as I have an Android and a Kindle, I haven't had the opportunity to check these out myself. However, it does seem that it'd make it easier for Games Workshop to push through errata or rules clarifications, since they can just come out with a tweaked version of the ebook and push it right to your device when you start your iTunes and sync up. So it should be very easy, if they continue to go this way, for them to make those rules tweaks. Moving on to Happy Seppuku. Now these guys do some wonderful base stamps. And this time they're giving us some base stamp accents. These will be things like manhole covers and grates, storm drains, to go with your bases, your cobblestone bases. It might even work with some tech decking for like an air conditioner vent. So, Happy Seppuku is really stepping up to make the bases something new and different. Now moving on to my friends over at Wargames and Drop Zone Commander. Again, they've given us another handful of wonderful previews, and through the Facebook, we learned this week that they were pushing the pre-release back a week. So we should be able to start doing some pre-orders starting the 8th of June, so this next week. We've also been promised that there will be some gameplay type hints on the site, as well as maybe some battle reports and perhaps even some videos. So really looking forward to Wargames getting the website up and running so we can see what we're really dealing with for this game that I'm hearing a lot of people talking about how just cool the miniatures are. Moving on to Infinity. Infinity has come out with 6 new sets. Now these will be the Nomad set for $28.50. The Mule Bots, these guys will clock in at $38. The Malignos for $10.50. Engineers for $10.50. The Diva for $38. And the Doctaris for $10.50. KR Multicase has decided to expand its line of half cases by putting out an aluminum half case. The case will run about $65, and with all KR stuff, it is shipping included. The website did say something about the case could hold 100 infantry, or it could hold a land raider along with some infantry or a couple drop pods. So, not being a KR multi-case user, it's really hard to gain a sense of scale, how big a half case really is. Be interesting to see if we can get our hands on one, just to see just how big this thing really is. Moving on to Puppets War. They've continued to put out some high-quality alternatives for your miniatures. This time they're giving us 10 steampunk guard heads. There are 2, they're calling them sergeant heads. They have the little skull motif on top. Or 8 grunts. These are coming in at €7. Puppets War is really cranking out the coolness, and it's really kind of tempting me to see if I can get a couple of these packs and how they fit with the standard Games Workshop models. Cyber Miniatures continue to work on its Celtic line of terrain bits. The first thing we got is 5 resin terrain bits. Now these will be $16.90 in euros. I'm sorry, I don't know what the euro version of a penny is. But looking at it, it's top half of I'll call it a marine statue. Several wolf heads with the Celtic engravings around them. Also, they've went ahead and released the 60mm base and the 40mm base for this line. Both sets of bases come in at $6.90. The 60mm base is one base per package, where the 40mm come 2 per set. And to end things out this week, guys, we have tabletop art. We've went ahead and released 2 highly detailed resin banners. The resin banners will retail for €7.50. They are raised, which you really can't see here in this painted picture too clearly. But, they are raised and would look great for a Black Templar style force or a Chaos horse. So, with that, guys, I will go ahead and wrap up this week's Ohiohammer RnR. Hopefully, midweek, I will be able to put together 1 or 2 of the interviews that I got from Origins and go ahead and play those for you. And guys, I will see you next week.
This podcast was brought to you by the Ohiohammer Network of Podcasts. If you liked the show, please check out our site, www.ohiohammer.com, and follow us on Twitter. Our addresses are at Ohiohammer2011, at Jake_Ohiohammer, at Mark Dieter, and at Ken_second_founding. We ask that if you like the show, please leave us a positive review on iTunes. Remember, all products and companies talked about on this podcast are the respective property of their owners, and the Ohiohammer Network makes no claim to said property. As always, guys, enjoy the site, enjoy the podcast, and enjoy the game.